Now, I'll briefly introduce to you the panelists, and then I'll ask them to give you a little bit of background about themselves, very short background, because we do want to hurry up and get started, and I'm going to ask the first couple of questions, and after that we'll open it up to the floor. One of our panelists could not be here, Conrad Dan Volz, Dr. Conrad Dan Volz. The weather has him stranded someplace. We don't know where Conrad is. We just know that he's trying to get here. Fortunately, we have a replacement in Dusty Horwick. Dusty is sitting right here, and he's sitting beside Nadia Stensor. And on my right, we have both Stephen Gross and Tom Stewart. Now, Nadia works for Earthworks Oil and Gas Accountability Project. She's worked to advance policy reform and community landowner rights related to shale gas development in Pennsylvania, New York, Ohio, and West Virginia. And in fact, she was going to fly out today, and the airline called her and said, you may not want to do that, you may want to turn around because we're canceling flights. So what did she do? She just kept driving right past the airport. And she ended up here tonight, so she's a trooper.
It's lovely to be here, and I was very happy to cross the Ohio line. As Ron said, I'm the Marcellus Regional Coordinator for Earthworks Oil and Gas Accountability Project, and we're a national organization that focuses on community, landowner, and rights and policy reform related to energy development and mining. We've worked for over 20 years to protect communities and the environment from the impacts of extractive industries. We work locally on the state level and on the federal level. One of our particular focuses now on the federal level is we're trying to reverse some of the exemptions that only the oil and gas industry have from major federal environmental laws to protect the rights and health of people, and that's a major concern. I do want to say we're not really anti-drilling, as it might have been posed, though we are on this side of the stage. We are just extremely concerned with the impacts of shale gas development and other forms of energy extraction as they're practiced today, and believe that we do need a lot of change before we go ahead, that there's a kind of a mad rush to drill underway, in part brought about by the economic situation in a lot of parts of the country, and that's of major concern and very troubling to us. We believe that corporations should be allowed to extract and process mineral fuels only if they can do so without harming public health, the environment, and the climate. And we have 4 major goals that we believe need to be achieved before drilling can forge ahead. And that is no water pollution. You'll hear tonight there are a lot of major concerns, and that's based on realities on the ground with water quality. Low emissions, meaning protection from pollution that harms human health and also accelerates climate change. No-go zones, like major watersheds, fragile environments, and densely populated neighborhoods. And also landowner and community consent. And as Ron mentioned, we'll probably get into that tonight. We're pretty troubled by the fact that in Ohio and in a lot of other states, municipalities don't have many rights when it comes to oil and gas specifically. And we also believe that landowners should be able to control the fate of their property and have every right to negotiate everything they need to protect their health and their families and still get a square deal. That protective leasing is not being done currently to the degree that we believe it should. And there are a lot of myths around shale gas development, and I won't go into all those because we'll probably get to them, that we're concerned about, but we're really here to represent all of you and to lift up the voices of communities and landowners in this very, very complicated debate. Thank you.
Dusty Horwick. I'm a senior counsel with Environmental Working Group. We're a nonprofit research and advocacy organization based in Washington, D.C. I came here from Washington. My journey was not quite as hectic as Nadia's, but I'm glad to have arrived safe and sound. And we have worked on oil and gas issues for about the past 7 years. We focus on a variety of environmental and health issues, including the use of toxic chemicals in everyday products, federal farm subsidies, and resource issues. And what we see the oil and gas issue as a combination of our work on toxic chemicals and our work on natural resources. We started out focusing on gas drilling in the west, and now as gas drilling has moved east, we've shifted our focus and have focused in particular on some of the toxic substances used in the process, hydraulic fracturing, which we'll hear more about. We released this report last year called Drilling Around the Law, which was featured on National Public Radio's Marketplace, among other outlets, which looked at some of the toxic chemicals used in hydraulic fracturing fluids. I testified 3 times before the New York City Council. One of the areas where there may be drilling is in upstate New York, underneath New York City's drinking water supply. That's also Marcellus Shale, and we're on top of the Marcellus Shale here. It extends all the way across New York, underneath New York City's drinking water supply. New York City has adamantly opposed drilling there, and we've testified before the council that there should not be drilling there because we feel that gas drilling is an inherently risky process. It should not be conducted near water supplies. New York City has estimated if their water were to be contaminated by gas drilling near their water supply, they would have to build a filtration plant at a cost of $20 billion. Someone also remarked at one of the hearings where I testified that the purity of New York City's drinking water is absolutely critical to the great taste of their pizza and bagels. So there are many important considerations for New York City. But I'll say the same thing tonight when we get into the substance that we believe drilling should not be conducted near water supplies. It's too risky. And we agree with Nadia that we're not anti-drilling. We want to make sure it's conducted more safely and responsibly and that these legal loopholes are closed.